All right, everybody, welcome back. This is episode 7 of the 546 Project Presents 30 Minutes or Less. I actually managed to get the whole gang back together again this week. We're going to start off with what's going on in the NFL right now. A lot of action going on the Sunday. The 1 o'clock games have just wrapped up. The 4 o'clocks are getting underway, but Nathan's going to run down what happened on your 1 o'clock games.
And actually, we started early this morning out in jolly old England, the 9:30 game.
How many games have they played in London this year?
This would be the fourth and final one, actually.
Okay, so this is they've really ramped that up. What's the reasoning behind that?
They just
to
London,
expand overseas. I mean, you get a much larger market, and it's already big enough over there. So why not? That's just more money, more revenue.
They've been throwing that carrot out there, like they're going to move a team out to London, but I just can't see that happening.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and that's what he was thinking. He said he wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years, but I would have thought they'd have tried to go up into Canada first.
And they're going down to
I
Mexico,
think they'd
too.
probably be in direct competition with the CFL. So I know the Bills were talking about it years ago, but I think their ownership is set, and they'll be staying in Buffalo for a while.
Do you really call it the NFL at that point? Would it be like the
International Football League? Yeah.
Had to change the name. It just seems.
Well, that's not necessarily true because you have the NHL and
they have a Toronto teams, and they still call it the NHL.
That's true.
I mean, you have the National Hockey League. Look how many Canadian
right.
teams they have.
That's true.
You have the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League. So no,
That's
that
true.
would absolutely not happen.
Not with one team. That's
yeah.
true.
So
But, you want to touch on the 9 or 9:30 plus 1 o'clock games?
Cousins just took a hit to the head here. It looks.
We have the Dallas Washington game on in the background.
Yeah.
He's just pointing at
He's
his
definitely
mouth
signaling
or
for it.
something. Yeah.
So I mean, look at this.
Oh my.
Yeah, he definitely took that one to the head.
Yes.
So
just to actually go off a tangent here, the Thursday night game that I attended to in person. Well,
You mean the massacre?
yeah,
The Thursday night massacre?
Massacre by Kiko Alonso and Joe Flacco in the second quarter.
Yeah, I told you. I think they pretty much figured it out. I mean, what was the score by that point?
By that point, I believe it was 13-0.
Oh, they were still in it. I guess they figured, if we can't score points, we're just going to take off the quarterback's head.
it didn't do much good.
No, it did not. It was not in person. As a Dolphins fan, to watch that, I believe it was the worst game I've experienced since the 62-7 playoff game against the Jaguars when Marino retired.
Now that is as a Dolphins fan,
Yes.
but I remember you and I going to opening day in Pittsburgh years ago when the Pirates played the Dodgers. I remember you being so thrilled at that game. As a matter of fact, I think I remember you flipping the team off as they were walking off the field.
Well, this is
Because
the
you were
worst
so
massacre.
agitated.
Well, this is the worst
So-
massacre in football. There's a difference.
So
The good thing about this game on Thursday that I went to, no fights in the stands, and that's always good too.
well, that's good.
Just figured there was enough action on the field. I mean, that game had everything. High score, injuries, stray animals.
The cat that ran onto the field, that was quite an experience because the play was going on while this cat ran onto the field, but luckily it was going on the other side of the actual field, and the cat just went through and ran to the Dolphin sideline.
Was it a black cat?
No, it was like a tan brown cat.
Well, for those of you who are concerned, the cat has a good home. He was adopted, and I believe he's probably a local celebrity at this point in the Baltimore area.
Yeah, probably their new mascot, if anything.
If not, I said the Dolphins probably should have tried to draft him.
But anyhow, as we went off on that mini tangent just to cover the Thursday game, going back to this morning's game, the Minnesota Vikings defeated the Cleveland Browns. Surprise.
Why not? Everyone else does.
We're going for that perfect season.
Perfect season. 33-16 they lost.
I mean, how many great draft choices and draft picks is Cleveland just going to burn with?
They're going for
I mean,
Well, this
they've
year,
consistently been at or near the bottom for how many years? They made the playoffs in 2003?
that one year when
Right.
Kelly Holcomb was the quarterback and Butch Davis was their head coach, and they played the Steelers.
Then they played the
had
Steelers,
that
yeah.
decent sized lead,
Yeah.
and the Steelers came back and won the game.
I remember that. I was actually in the bar at my first full-time job watching that, and it was just one of those exciting games. Like, Oh my, it was fantastic. I was just in there watching it with all my coworkers and everything in the bar, getting all loud. Thought I was going to get fired that day.
So the Browns go down again to the Vikings.
Yeah,
Surprise.
Case Keenum, the quarterback for the Vikings, had 288 yards passing and 2 touchdowns against the Browns defense, which didn't really show up in London. And this...
Well, they don't show up here. Why would they show up in London? So, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Hugh Jackson, the Browns coach, his career record with the Browns is now 1-23.
He will probably not have a job.
They have a bye this week, so they're 0-8.
Hey, look on the bright side, they won't lose.
This would be a good time to fill that slot.
But the thing is, usually if you make a coaching change in the middle of the season, you have someone in mind that on the staff that you want to replace him with, and at this point,
I mean, they could
no
probably
idea.
employ me, and I could probably do a just as good of a job.
You can't do it worse.
And I would do it for a very slight.
Nice of you to put your name in the ring, and
Yeah.
we'll wait for that phone call.
I'll have to sit out during that Steelers game, though.
So moving on to the 1 o'clock games, one we had on actually here, the New England Patriots defeat the Los Angeles Chargers. I need to point that out.
It
because
still doesn't roll off the
just-
tongue.
Yeah,
It just still
it's
doesn't flow.
always that, like, you think, oh, they're in San Diego, and even the announcers sometimes are still referring to them as the San Diego Chargers, but they lost to New England 21-13 today. Tom Brady had nice yardage passing, 333 yards, but he only had 1 touchdown passing. Didn't really need that much to beat the
Chargers were trying to make some noise there at the very end, but ended up in a Phillip Rivers interception.
And New England's kind of getting into their groove. You know, they're 6-2 now.
Off to a rocky start, but
they're getting to look out. They're going to bust loose, and now they're
going to win that division
they're
again.
in the driver's seat.
They're going to win that.
Except,
They're going to win
well,
that East division again.
There is a contender in the AFC East, and surprisingly, it's the Buffalo Bills, and they against Oakland won 34-14, a nice drubbing of the Raiders. LaShawn McCoy leading the way on the ground for the Bills, 151 yards and a touchdown. We didn't really get to watch the game, but just the looks of this score, there was no contest.
I just keep waiting for the wheels to fall off with Buffalo. It's like they start off strong every year. Every year you get 6 or 7 weeks in, and this is right around the time. And,
they're
it all starts
undefeated
coming
at home
apart.
right now, so if they play the rest of their games at home, I mean, they're 4-0, so they'll only have 4 games left, but, who knows about the Bills? They get the Jets on Thursday night, so could be another win.
I'm not a Bills fan. In fact, I'll go on record to say I pretty much despise the Bills, being a Dolphins fan. But if they can unseat the Patriots and take to the playoffs, hey, I'll support it. I won't pick them in the Super Bowl or anything if we get that far. But better than the Patriots.
Another 1 o'clock game, the Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Indianapolis Colts 24-23. The winning touchdown came on the defensive side for the Bengals, as they improved to 3-4. Bengals, I don't know about them. They're kind of up and down, really, but we'll see. And then the New Orleans Saints improved to 5-2. They beat the Chicago Bears 20-12. The Atlanta Falcons beat the New York Jets 25-20. The Philadelphia Eagles continued to have the best record in the NFL at 7-1. They beat San Francisco 33-10.
San Francisco's also no wins on the season,
0-8
correct?
as well, just like Cleveland. And Carolina Panthers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 17-3.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we're also going to go in a lot going on in sports today. Game 5 of the World Series is tonight. Dodgers and Astros knotted up at 2. Nathan, your thoughts? I know you're watching. You got a close eye on this one.
And I watch it when the Dodgers are doing well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just turn off the channel, and then that's when they do well.
Yeah, see, we kind of have a term for those fans. They're usually referred to as fair-weathered fans. So,
Yes,
but I
the
guess
thing is, they do well when I don't watch them, so I'm doing them a favor.
But-
Sacrificing so they can do well.
But I guess you're just not used to seeing your teams actually playing for championships.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like you hate to watch sometimes, but you just have to like stick in there and do it. like when the Steelers lost to Green Bay in the Super Bowl a few years back.
Yeah,
That was rough.
When they beat themselves.
Tonight's game will go a long way for Clayton Kershaw. Many people think he's a Hall of Fame pitcher on the way.
This could
but
cement his legacy
this
tonight.
game,
So.
if he does well, could cement his legacy as one of the great pitchers.
I'm looking forward to the outcome. It's basically a rematch of Game 1.
Speaking of that World Series, what are people's opinions about the Astro guy who got the suspension but doesn't have to serve it until next season? In my opinion, you get suspended, it should be like, hey.
Suspensions should take place immediately.
Right. Ooh,
No
first
matter
5
if it's
games-
playoffs or not.
Yeah, first 5 games the next season, who cares?
I was
Figure
unaware
like
of this,
if
but
he's going to
I agree.
actually learn anything from it, just to serve that at the beginning of this next season.
Yeah, that's-
it just kind of goes
It's
away.
a
I mean, you take a look at all these suspensions, like when players get suspended for an entire season or whatever, like they miss the playoffs, they have no opportunity to play.
Absolutely. I don't understand the ruling here. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
I
but-
think the intent was for it not to affect the actual World Series. Just
Well,
to take a player away.
as far as
just
I'm
because-
concerned-
If he
World
deserves
Series.
suspension, then I mean that doesn't make any
Yeah,
at least
as far
business
as,
sense
as
to
far
me.
as I'm concerned, the World Series is part of the season for those two particular teams. So he shouldn't be playing. So
So if they
basically
win,
now,
sounds like an
if the
asterisk.
Astros win, yeah, it's an asterisk on that. And,
Asterisk from the Astros.
we may be calling shenanigans here at the 546 podcast. So
Shenanigans.
Well,
That's that place I like to go to with all the goofy shit on the wall and the mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, I was just wondering what other people's opinions on that were. Cool.
Yeah, he definitely should serve the suspension. I mean, like, yeah.
Currently.
yeah, it should be effective immediately. I mean, that's like Nathan said. What do you learn from that?
Yeah.
You know, what do you walk away with from that? I don't understand that at all.
But we'll see tonight, and then there's at least one game that will be back in Los Angeles. But it's been a very good series, for sure.
Is it 2-3-2 set up in Major League?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I did not watch much baseball this year.
I think I watched more this year than I have in the last 2 or 3 years just by watching the last game in the Nationals Cubs series, watching the Nationals go down, and nothing made me happier. But we're going to turn the page from baseball now. A lot going on in the WWE today, World Wrestling Entertainment. 3 releases coming out today. One of them surprises me, the other 2 not so much. But Emma, Darren Young, and
Summer Rae.
have all been released. They've all been future endeavored, if you will.
Summer Rae's so memorable. I had to remind Dan just
Yeah,
how good it was.
I had it. And I like her. I do. Of course, remember Summer Rae debuted with Fandango back when he debuted. Oh my goodness, when did he start? That was
Actually, 2013.
2013. I was going to say 2012, but yeah, I mean she's been around a long
time. And the
time.
thing is, it seems like Summer Rae has been injured longer than she's actually been active in the company.
Oh.
So
But the one that surprises me out of all this was Emma.
She's been in a program, hasn't she?
Yeah,
we
actually,
just talked about
we were-
her on one of our episodes because she was in TLC against Asuka.
Yeah, it looked like, I mean, they were really starting to use her more so now than they had in the beginning. And I mean, the way they promoted bringing Asuka in, you know, calling her up from NXT and having her come up, I would think whoever got that match, and I did not think Emma would be the one. You would have thought they'd had some kind of long-term plan in mind, but
You remember when Emma came up the first time? She was with Santino Marella.
Santino, yeah,
that just sucks.
kind of more
so
of a
bad.
comic relief character. And then she had gotten some trouble, if you all remember, if anybody remembers it, I think she was accused or something of stealing like an iPad case or something from Walmart. And you don't think about a WWE superstar getting accused of theft from Walmart. Like,
Right. Not with those
think about it.
guaranteed contracts now.
Right. I mean, you would think maybe from a little more of a high-end store, but definitely not a Walmart. But I actually kind of thought she wouldn't make the cut after that. But, I mean, she's kind of been in and out. They, as I mentioned in the last time we talked about her, they did all that promotion to build her up as Emelina. And then for her to just come out and say, now you watch the transition back to Emma. And I thought she was going to disappear again, but no, pretty strong showing here as of late. She was at the pay-per-view, she was on Raw, and now she's gone. So that very, very surprising.
Very odd, yes.
Darren Young, not so much. I believe he's also injured.
He got hurt. The last time we saw Darren Young, he was doing the Make Darren Young Great Again gimmick with Bob Backlund.
It was good to see Bob Backlund back on TV in any capacity. So, not really a big surprise. And again, Summer Rae, but Emma, definitely a shock, in my opinion. But the talk of divas kind of got us thinking here earlier. We Nathan thought of a list to put together, and we're going to roll with this. This is going to be pretty interesting. So,
each of us loves the WWE, loves wrestling, and we love the women that are in wrestling. So each of us compiled a small list of who our favorites are, and some of them may actually overlap. I don't know who wants to go ahead and start, but I'll actually go ahead and start. Starting from the bottom, I picked 3, and they're all from different eras in wrestling. This one being current, Alexa Bliss. I'm just a big fan of Alexa Bliss. The character, how she talks, there's a reason she's the best.
All champion. 5 feet of fury of her, right? It's like,
right.
I love the catchphrases that some of the shirts that
Little Miss Bliss.
Little Miss Bliss and 5 feet of fury. I do enjoy it. And she's really good on the mic. She really is.
Yeah. Just a natural.
She should have her own show.
She's
Good morning, Miss Bliss.
Nice.
They should do that.
That would be better than the original Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Yes.
It only lasted one
I'm
season.
not a fan of at all.
Oh, that's why if you notice the rest of the Saved by the Bell series is on DVD and that's not. So
Hey, I like Good Morning, Miss Bliss myself.
It goes along. It'd have been interesting to see where that series would have went if it would have continued with that formula.
Right.
But no, I like Alexa Bliss. I like the program with her and Mickie James right now. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where that goes. But moving on with your list.
Who's your number 2,
the next
Nathan?
One, mid-90s, Sunny.
Sunny?
Everybody loves
Not current Sunny.
Not now.
Not current.
Now it's just kind of like she's fallen off the rails.
Yeah.
But back then she was the best, and she didn't wrestle, but she was a good valet.
Yeah.
So.
And they used to always use her as guest ring announcer and stuff, just to find reasons to put her on
TV. Exactly.
Yeah, they did that for sure.
Back in the early days of the internet, she was I think the most downloaded.
She was the most downloaded female in '97, I think it was. Yeah.
Sunny's hot all around.
Yeah.
She was the real deal.
Number 1 on my list.
This shouldn't be difficult.
You probably have the same one, Trish Stratus.
Yep, Trish Stratus.
Came up as a bodybuilder, learned wrestling, and will go down as one of the greatest women's wrestlers probably of all time.
Right. Well, I'll go next. Number 3 on my list is Paige. And then following in with Paige, number 2 was Trish Stratus, and number 1, Stacy Keibler. I've always liked Stacy Keibler, Miss Hancock, whichever you prefer.
Which one do you like, the Miss Hancock gimmick or the?
Being a huge WCW fan, I loved it, but it was the best thing WCW had going for them at that time.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and there's something about her in that outfit alone. But when she came to WWE, it was all great. So I just absolutely love her. She was with the Dudleys and TNA, and
she got to expand her character a lot
more.
Right.
She was a lot more involved instead of just was she a Nitro Girl first?
I think she was.
Yes,
yeah.
I think she would.
She was also a Baltimore Ravens cheerleader.
Yes, she actually got her start as a Ravens cheerleader.
So, because she's local to Baltimore. Yeah, we won't hold that against her.
That's right.
It's the best thing that ever happened to the Ravens. But, from Ravens cheerleader, Nitro Girl, to Miss Hancock, to Stacy Keibler. I think WWE did more for her career than anything, obviously. She wrestled, valeted, everything. She was a manager, Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, that's right.
So, but Stacy Keibler will go down as my number 1 favorite of all time.
Jason, you want to go with yours?
In no particular order, I'd have to say Lita.
Yeah,
definitely on. AJ Lee, and let's see here, third one. I agree with you with Paige also.
Yeah.
Paige is an outstanding wrestler. And I'm really curious to see what happens when she finally does come back on TV.
Supposedly soon.
Yeah, with all the kind of the controversy that went around, and of course she's dating Alberto Del Rio, and or on again, off
We
again.
won't hold that against her.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't know what's going on there, but some domestic disputes and all that. But then you kind of find out that it wasn't him as much as it was her.
Yeah, that was surprising.
She's pretty tough. I mean, she comes from a wrestling background. I mean, her whole family, I think, is into it, and the movie they're doing on her should be interesting too when that comes out. But yeah, Paige is awesome. She's legit, that's for sure.
Oh, I want to throw one in that nearly made the cut for me. I was always a huge fan of Ivory.
Yeah.
I always liked
Catsuit
Ivory.
Ivory.
Yes, Catsuit Ivory. And Cat, Miss Kitty, was another one of my favorites, but mostly from the Attitude Era. But I always loved Ivory.
Ivory was
cool.
great, and she was in Glow, which was
I did not know that.
yeah, she was Tina. She used her real name, her first name.
I
in that,
did not
and
know
that's
that.
where she got her start.
And before Dan goes into his list, I know who Nathan would pick here about most overrated diva of all time.
But which one?
Well, I don't know if it was more you or Brandon, but Sable was always
Oh,
on that
he
list.
was. That's
Is-
actually
That's
Sable
that's
and
a friend
Deborah.
of ours.
right?
Sable was more like a robot, if anything.
Right.
But Deborah, I had no complaints about Deborah
Oh.
myself.
Sable pretty much started what you would consider the Attitude Era as far as the Divas wrestling, the bra and panty matches and all that. I mean,
Right.
Sonny kind of got the Divas movement started so much in the mid-90s, but once the Attitude Era kicked in, I mean, they took
I
Sable
think
and just
Brandon
ran
used
with
the
it.
term for Sable as Skeletor.
I
which is a
believe
little,
the word
you know,
Skeletor has been bantered about.
Yes. So sorry, that was our friend Brandon who really had it in for Sable.
And we know he loves wrestling so much these days. He
yes.
is like
So we could have him on a podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, normally he comes over for Royal Rumble, but Dan and I plan on not being here for that. So
Yeah, well, I have my list. It's hard to narrow it down to 3 because I've had a lot of divas over the years that I've really liked. Trish Stratus, without a doubt. She's, again, I say legit. Like I said, watching her come up, I mean, I didn't know she was a bodybuilder before she started, but watching her start, you could tell, you could just watch her learn, and she just got better as it went along. Her, big fan of Lita, as she debuted with S.A. Rios. That was kind of sad he never took off. We were fans of him when he first started, too.
right.
But again, I think just the involvement as they come up, watching them evolve. She was really great. I've always loved Sunny. Sunny to me, Sunny was always hot. Anybody remember Missy Hyatt? From
Oh,
WCW
man.
days,
Yeah,
back
Missy
in the
Hyatt,
80s.
WCW.
I think she kind of gets overlooked. I follow her on Twitter, and it's really cool to read a lot of her tweets. But you got to
Hey, very good. That's an honorable mention that I would have wish I would have thought of.
I think you also have to give credit to a lot of them from the 80s, like Miss Elizabeth and Sherry Martel. I mean, they were, that was when women's wrestling, before it turned to what the Attitude Era did to it. I mean, it's getting back on track now, in my opinion, but women's wrestling was really great back then. I mean, they didn't wrestle as much in WWE at that time, but like Miss Elizabeth, again, and Sensational Sherry, I mean, they kind of got a lot of it started getting it popular. So,
Yeah, very true.
some definite honorable mentions there.
What was next?
you were talking about the box
I wanted to get into the weekend
right?
box office real quick. We
Right.
had some upcoming entertainment stuff. A couple of new movies this week. I know one Kevin and I got a chance to check out. Jigsaw opened this week.
Opened up to they estimated at $16.2 million this weekend. After 7 years, the Saw franchise is back. Believe this was the second lowest opening for the series. I think Saw 7 what came in the lowest. I think it was like 14 million. I'm not too sure on those numbers. But overall, I thought the movie was okay. There was nothing really special. Wasn't really expected to be blown away. You kind of know what you're going in expecting. I think it delivered those.
I mean, I've only seen the first one, but I enjoyed it. I mean, Carrie and I went and checked it out. I mean, she liked it. I had a good time with it.
Yeah,
It's
avoiding spoilers, but if you're a fan of the series, you'll go in, you'll enjoy it. You're not going to leave like, oh my gosh, that was like the greatest thing ever. I would be surprised to see another Saw movie come out to theaters.
That was my next
but,
question. Do you think they'll do another one? Or
It depends. I didn't see the production budget for this, but my guess it would probably be around 15 mark. But I honestly have no idea. So it's going to make money. Be interesting to see what it does overseas for the total worldwide gross. But other than that,
I think you had some other numbers you wanted to run by us. I think,
no, I didn't really look up much more than just Saw this weekend. I think Medea's Halloween came in at number 2.
Boo 2.
So Boo 2 I think came in at number 2.
Boo, who cares?
Yeah.
Boo.
But no, I believe you were talking about it earlier and what. Where
It currently stands at 666 million worldwide. So once again, I think it pulled in a little over 2 million estimated for this weekend, which is still really strong.
Just a huge cash cow for Stephen King, and
yeah. Well, I don't really know how much he's getting out of this, but it all depends on his rights. He definitely is getting something, but
it's more good for the studio.
Yeah,
right, of course, but I'm sure he's not complaining. So,
no.
But another movie we kind of wanted to touch on real quick, mentioning Stephen King, I won't say adaptation because it was a continuation. But, this Tuesday, the 31st, The Dark Tower comes to whatever media you prefer to enjoy, whether it be download, Blu-ray, 4K, Ultra HD, whatever, DVD. Anyway, you can find it in stores this week. Jason and I know will be picking it up at Best Buy. Best Buy has an exclusive Steelbook edition that looks pretty nice.
So yeah, if you haven't seen it, give it a try. It should be in Redbox. If you're a little hesitant to go and check it out in theaters, Redbox. It's whether you've read the material or you haven't, it's just a good movie all around. It's tight. It's 90 minutes. You can spare it. It's fun, action-packed 90 minutes.
it's actually available video on demand for the last 2 weeks, right?
Yes, that too.
So you can always rent it there if Redbox is not your forte.
And like Jason said, I think you can definitely enjoy it whether you've read it or not. I am going to defend the movie. It didn't do as well as a lot of people were hoping. But I'm going to defend it. I think it was a cool move to make it a continuation of the story as opposed to an adaptation. I kind of think, too, people would have jumped on it even more than they already have. Had it been an adaptation. So I'm going to defend it. I enjoyed it.
No, and we'll maybe get into that more later, but I know we're trying to get the food box in real quick. So,
Okay. So what we have here is TGI Fridays Party Bites. These are a premium popcorn snack, macaroni and cheese flavored.
They have to be good.
Ooh, they're nice little puffs. Here you go.
These are premium popcorn.
Usually the puffs are for wimps.
Yes.
Well, real men do the puff, okay? So
Kevin O'Shea.
All right.
here we go.
And here we go.
They're not. They're okay.
Normal texture of
they
a
remind
puff.
The normal texture of a puff, I really don't get a huge mac and cheese
Not a lot of
flavor.
flavor at all.
No.
Remind me of cheese balls.
And they do, just without the cheese.
Just very
Yeah.
little now.
These are very, very weak on the cheese flavor.
As compared to other ones.
Yeah,
this
I was expecting more from
lacks-
TGI
Hey,
Fridays.
The texture's fine, and if they weren't advertising mac and cheese, they'd be all right.
Yeah.
But
They're okay. They're really lacking. They almost taste more like buttered, popcorn than it does mac and
popcorn.
cheese.
Yeah.
really kind of let down by this one.
Yeah.
So overall, I wouldn't recommend this one.
Yeah, would not recommend the TGI Fridays Party Bites.
No party there.
No.
I recommend you just go to a TGI
None.
Friday.
It is not a party in your mouth.
That's right. No one's invited. So
Oh, well. Yeah, you find us at iTunes, Google Play Music, Twitter, the _546_ project. Our Facebook page is our whole name. YouTube, whole name there. Gmail, the 546project at gmail.com. Our Libsyn site is our full name of the podcast, the 546 Project 30 Minutes or Less. .libsyn.com.
So plenty of ways to get a hold of us. We definitely encourage feedback, questions. We're open books. We'll talk about anything. So if there's some stuff you want to hear, let us know. But other than that, I think we can pretty much wrap it up here. And
Yeah, well, and to touch on it while we still have a few seconds, just to go up on what Dan and Jason were talking about, I did not get to see The Dark Tower in the theaters. I will be looking to rent it or do video on demand and take a look at this. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I read the first 2 books in the series, and I love the second book. The third book I lost the interest on. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. And if I like this, I'll be checking out the TV show when it comes out as well.
We'll talk more about that later. Looking forward to hearing your review of it, sir.
Right. So once again, thank you for joining us here on the podcast, and we look forward to seeing you all next time.
And we'll be back soon.
All
Thank
right,
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.